Hello and welcome to another edition of Another Book Review. This week I'll be reviewing T.C. Boyle's novel The Terranauts. I'll talk very briefly about the author, go into a spoiler-free overview of the plot, talk about what I liked about the book, what I didn't like about the book, who I'd recommend the book to, and finish off with what I'll be reading for next time. T.C. Boyle is an author who has been writing novels, short story collections since the mid-'70s. He's still probably best known for The Road to Wellville, which was made into a movie in the early 90s. He's also written a relatively well-known book, Tortilla Curtain, but he's written, I think, at this point, 16 novels. This book, The Terranauts, came out about 5 years ago. It's a little bit hard to summarize, so I'll try to do my best here briefly. The book involves centers around three characters who are all a part of a mission similar to a Spaceship Earth, if anybody's seen that documentary, where these people were selected to live in a biodome type structure, a biosphere, cut off from the rest of the world for a period of time. In this book, the enclosure time is roughly 2 years. So this group of 8, 4 men and 4 women, have all decided to participate in this experiment to live apart from the world for a period of 2 years. So their motto is nothing comes in, nothing gets out, or nothing comes in, nothing goes out. And so this is the world that they live in. There's a kind of an eccentric billionaire who has funded all of this. He has kind of 2 right-hand associates, and there's several hangers-on. This is all taking place in the kind of Arizona desert. So there's a lot going on. There's 3 main characters in the book. Linda Ryu, who, like the rest of the crew here who's training for the second mission, the first mission of this is the first group of people who went in, similar to what happened in our world. There was an accident and they broke closure early, and they allowed one of the Terranauts to come out to receive medical treatment. And in the eyes of the world, that kind of tainted the whole thing. This is the second group to go in, and they're much more motivated to make sure closure remains constant, meaning nothing goes in and nothing comes out for the 2-year period. So Linda Ryu is one of the characters who is training in order to hopefully be selected to become one of these Terranauts for the second mission. Her best friend, Don Chapman, is also ultimately selected for the role that Linda was trying to go in as. Each of the 8 members have specialized roles, and she's the second main character. And the third main character is Ramsey, who is the communications officer, who's something of a womanizer. And the book is really, each chapter is told from one of those 3 perspectives, and it covers the 2 years from them going in as the second mission to them coming out from the second mission, and a little bit after that, but that's mainly what the book covers. So what I liked about it, I think it actually is very well written. I thought that T.C. Boyle can compose a sentence. He's also very good at foreshadowing things to come to keep your interest in the book. I think a lot of writers, when they're writing characters, they shy away from real negative emotions when writing about from the first person, so they tend to shy away from someone realizing that they're a bad person. T.C. Boyle doesn't really have that problem. All the characters, I think, have to some degree a sense of realization that they are doing things that are wrong or evil or hurtful to other people. That doesn't stop them from doing it, but they at least acknowledge that that is what they're doing, is that's part of their character. They try to justify it through different reasons, but that's ultimately what they end up doing. I felt the book actually was pretty well paced for a 500-page book. I thought that there was enough of the drama between these characters and the larger group of Terranauts to kind of keep the book moving forward. There are some things that happen in the biosphere that kind of shake things up. I don't want to go into them for spoiler reasons, but there's enough there to kind of keep you moving through the book, and it moves pretty quickly for a 500-page book. I guess on the other hand, the things I didn't care for as much, the book, none of the characters are likable people. If you're someone who does need a book to have likable characters that you can follow and root for, this book really isn't it. I think the theme of the book, if I had to sum it up, is even when you're dealing with people who believe in science and who believe in kind of sacrificing for the greater good, you have the inner squabbles, the personal relationships of people, the messiness of human being relationships, sexuality, and all those things. And if you add those into a confined space, those problems kind of become exponential. And so I think that's ultimately what he's trying to say, is that even in a book, even in a situation where people are really high-minded and really are there for science, the messiness of human responsibilities and human relationships really get in the way, and there's really no escaping from that. And so the characters, like I said, they oftentimes do very petty things, very cruel things, without any real care whatsoever for their fellow co-workers. The book, because the book is only told from these three perspectives, I thought it limited overall the totality of the story that could have gone on. We really only have these three perspectives. I wish he had broken it out a little bit more and had a few more viewpoints from inside the biosphere. There's a couple inside the biosphere who we never see things through their point of view. I think I would have enjoyed that. I also would have liked to have seen things from the Doctor's point of view, who's another character in the biosphere. So all in all, and also I think the book kind of ends on something of an anticlimactic note. There's kind of in one of the characters, there's kind of a buildup of her realizing that she's been harmed by other people and beginning to act on that realization. And I think that the book kind of comes to a head at the end of the book, but it kind of ends on a little bit of an anticlimactic note. And so I was a little disappointed by that. But overall, I thought it was really well written. I think that it moves pretty quickly, given the subject matter. I think he does a good job of setting the tone, of really focusing on these characters, and as kind of despicable as they may seem at times, I think he does a good job of showing you how normal people would have acted or would act in a situation like this, given their personalities. There's also kind of going again with the theme of the high-minded ideals versus the really day-to-day survival, really, of these people. The whole Terranaut experiment is kind of overseen by this cult-like figurehead who goes by GC, and GC is really in it for the money. I mean, it becomes clear as the book goes along that he's really just doing this less of this idea of setting humans up for success in the future as climate change happens and all these things happen, that you really ultimately realize that this is really more to line his pockets than any kind of true science experiment. And so I thought that was woven really well into the book overall. I would have liked to have seen a few more viewpoints, like I said, to kind of build the story out a little bit, but overall, I did enjoy it. I don't know if I would recommend people to start here for T.C. Boyle. This is the first of his stuff that I've read, but I probably would try to find something a little bit shorter to get into. I hear that people really respond well to Tortilla Curtain, and I may check that out next. I have a copy of World's End, I believe, and so I may check one of those books out in the future. So until next time, when I will be reading The Nest, please feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll have my Twitter link below if you want to follow me there. Until next time, bye.